Lord. So I ran into our next guest at TechSom a little over a year ago. Anthony Washington is the State Director for Rewa. I had my eye on Coombsville for a long time now, as it's in the southeastern end of Napa. It's cooler climate, provides more acidity, more some nice tension than you're going to find on some of the valley floor spots, and it has the potential to be amazing. Anyway, Anthony mentioned that he was doing this project in Coombsville with Celia, Welch, and Mike Wolf from Scarecrow. And he said, I can send you some samples. And I said that I would be out there in about a month. So let's get together and try some wine at the estate. I have to say, it's one of the most breathtaking vineyards I've ever seen anywhere in the world. So, you know, for years I've asked myself and many winemakers, what is the formula for a cult wine? And generally the answer is what people did on a certain project. And there really is no one size fits all to that question. Ultimately, you know, I can tell you this: if there ever was a project that had all the makings of the next cult wine, this is it. Please welcome Anthony Washington.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And, you know, thank you for putting this together for us, and you and the team at Serendipity. This is really nice to be able to visit with so many people at one time during these challenging times we're all going through. And thank you for everyone for taking the time out of your afternoon to join us. So my name is Anthony Washington, of course, the Estate Director at Rewa Vineyards in Coombsville. You know, we've started a new project down there. We started in 2015. Our vintner, GS Serene, he purchased the property in 2012, and we officially got started in 2015. So what you're going to be tasting today is our second vintage of Sauvignon Blanc and our second vintage of Cabernet Sauvignon. So it's very new and, you know, very small production. So, but essentially, you know, we're in Coombsville. It's a new hot AVA in Napa Valley. You know, we've only been an AVA since 2011, when Tom Farella, our neighbor to the east, spearheaded this AVA becoming, you know, reality. Essentially, we have these beautiful volcanic soils down there. If you looked at Coombsville from an aerial map, we are a big U shape where we're inside of what used to be a volcano. That volcano erupted, the caldera collapsed in on itself, creating a crater. That crater filled with water, creating a lake, and that lake ebbed and flowed back and forth, giving us this beautiful volcanic river rock, which is what's in our vineyards in Coombsville. We're also, as Daniel said, we're at the very bottom of Napa Valley near the San Pablo Bay, so therefore we have a great position near the ocean that brings in this beautiful cooling breeze, which protects the city in our part of the valley as well. So, needless to say, we have two vineyard sites on our particular property. We have our eastern vineyard, which is where our Sauvignon Blanc comes from, which you'll taste. Some cool little fun facts about myself real quick and a couple other people. So yes, I was the former sommelier of the Augusta National Golf Club for 7 years. I also worked at the French Laundry as a sommelier. Continues to work as a sommelier. Yeah, I'm going to be in the Masters in November. If anyone wants any shirts or balls or anything like that, I also am the sommelier for the U.S. Open, choose all the wine for the sponsors. And yes, 1989 Chateau Beaucastel was the wine that really kind of like told me that wines were special and unique and fun. So, but back to our site. So if you look here, the Dr. Dirt, David Howe, the geologist from the Winemaker's Dance, came and told us a little bit about our property. He told us about the volcano that erupted and forming the crater in the caldera. We also have 3 different sites on that particular property. On our eastern vineyard, which is has an eastern exposure, it's facing the Farella vineyard, which is now owned by Realm. And essentially that site is unique to us because it's has that eastern exposure, which gets the morning sun, which is not as hot as the warmer afternoon sun. We also get that cooling breeze, which kind of shrouds this part of the valley till about 12 o'clock in the day on average. So it kind of protects the city in that area, but also it's protected by the hill in the afternoon. So therefore it's just a unique site down there. As a matter of fact, in 2019, we got a little botrytis in that part of the vineyard and made a late harvest Sauvignon Blanc. So it's a pretty unique site down there. That's where our Sauvignon Blanc comes from. We have 2 types of Sauvignon Blanc we grow down there. We have a little Sauvignon Musqué, and then we also have Sauvignon Blanc Clone 1, which we blend together to make our Sauvignon Blanc. We also have our Western Vineyard, which is, right next to, adjacent to the Meteor Vineyard. My friend Maya Koshitsky, who's the director of winemaking for Melka, tells me this is the warmest site in all of Coombsville. Essentially, we're getting the benefit of the warmer afternoon sun on that side, which is able to ripen Cabernet fully in Coombsville. Originally, when they started planting grapes in Coombsville, they thought this area was only good for Pinot Noir and Chardonnay because of it's about 10 degrees cooler on average than St. Helena to the north. So essentially, these Western vineyards like Rewa, like Caldwell, like Rewa, are able to ripen Cabernet fully in this cooler climate, which gives us the density in our wines. So we also have another unique site. We also have this volcanic bedrock and relics. So as David Howell was telling us, this site is not currently planted. We're going to plant this in the future. And this site is actually the same soils you find on Pritchard Hill. So we have about 3 acres there, which is going to be some reserve wine at some point once we get that planted. So hopefully that'll be in the near future for all of us. You know, as far as winemaking goes, we're a certified fish-friendly program, you know, farmed sustainably entirely by hand. You know, we work with our vineyard team, you know, with Mike Wolf to maintain all these, you know, rigorous standards. We sort whole cluster, you know, the berries optically sorted. And then of course we have Cabernet vinified solely aged for 10 months, blended and kind of brought back together and aged another 12 months. We use a variety of, actually, let's get to the Sauvignon Blanc. Let's taste that, and then we'll get back to the Cabernet and talk a little bit about that. So our Sauvignon Blanc, which is one of the wines we'll be tasting today, is our 2018. That's our sophomore vintage of Sauvignon Blanc. Essentially, in 2015, when we started producing Cabernet Sauvignon, we did not make a white wine. GS Serene, our vintner, his wife came to him. Her name is Rewa, hence the name of the vineyard. And she said, honey, you know, by the way, you know, I drink more white than red. Can you make me a wine? And he says he never misses an opportunity to kiss up to his wife. So we started producing some Sauvignon Blanc. We had it grown before. We were selling a lot of that to another Milka property up north, but we did not produce a wine initially from those grapes, but decided to take some back to make some wine for his wife. So this is super small production. It's only 185 cases. So for those of you who are tasting this, you're one of the rare few that get a little taste of this wine. You know, so, but we aged that, we ferment that in concrete and stainless steel, 50% each. We age that in neutral oak with a little bit of lees stirring to give it some mid-palate weight. And then we also age it in a little bit of stainless steel and bring that back together to blend this wine. So to me, when I taste this wine, I get a lot of that Sauvignon Muscat kind of shining through. You get a lot of that melon off the nose, a lot of that stone fruit, you know, the peach, the nectarine. So, and this nice crisp acidity from that Clone 1 kind of finishing off. So to me, for their purposes, they wanted to have it with food. And, you know, as a, you know, they live in Singapore, so it's a wine they can drink year round in Singapore, where it's a lot warmer than it is here. So they love this wine. And as a matter of fact, the last time I was there doing a wine dinner, she was drinking this wine in their wine cellar with one of her good friends. So, you know, fantastic wine, nice, crisp, dry, great for Texas. You know, this time of year, maybe not, but when you guys are in the warmer part of the year, like spring and summer, this is probably a great, you know, pool, summers, you know, river, lake wine. So after that, we have our Cabernet Sauvignon from 2016. That's our sophomore vintage of Cabernet Sauvignon as well. Essentially, you know, we started producing wine in 2015. 16 to me was a great vintage because we finally got rain, you know, between the winter of 15 and 16, went through 4 years of drought. All our reservoirs were full. So essentially, this is what, to me, Coombsville should taste like. It has this, you know, density you get from that warmer afternoon sun in our Western vineyard. You're also getting this, you know, minerality from those volcanic soils. You're getting this brilliant acidity from the cool breeze that's kind of, you know, air conditioning these vines in this part of the valley. So from our back porch, which, you know, Daniel was telling us about the view from there, you can see the San Pablo Bay to your left, and you can see Mount St. Helena to your right. It's one of the most unique views in Napa Valley. I mean, I think even in Pritchard Hill, they'd be hard to get this view because you're able to get, you know, both the bay and the very north of the valley from one vantage point. But that bay is where that cool breeze is coming in and protecting acidity. To me, our wines have this beautiful minerality, that great acidity. So to me, they have the sense of place. There's our vintner right there, GS Serene, Celia, Welch, our winemaker, of course, Mike Wolf, and I don't know who's that handsome guy, but needless to say, we were able to get this this beautiful density in our wines from that part of the valley. These wines are completely ageable. To me, I could age these wines 15, 20 years. But for those of you who are on premise, I think this is a wine that benefits from an hour of decanting, and it goes fantastic with lamb, venison, dry aged beef, any type of beef. You know, this is something that has a little bit of that earthiness coming from those volcanic soils. So therefore, I think that it's something that goes well with types of cuisine that have a little bit of earthiness to it as well. So for the white wine, I like to see that with fish. I like to see that with Asian food, Thai, Indian, anything of that nature. Any type of wines that benefit from a little bit of fruit. It still has a little bit of that residual sugar, but like not too much, and still great acidity. I think, did I cover that too quickly?
No.
Perfect.
No, we're doing well. Does anybody have any questions?
So that view right there you're looking at is from the Eastern Vineyard, and that is Farella on the other side of the road down there. You're overlooking our vineyard to Farella. So nice little vantage point there. I guess I could tell you a little bit about the oak regimen on the cab. So, we, as I said, usually it's 10 months in French oak. We use about 70% new French oak, and then we blend those after for another 12 months and age up for another 12 months. So essentially this is all French oak. We use a variety of toast and a variety of producers, people like, Hermitage, Terranceau to get a little more complexity in the wines. And then of course, Celia and her team, blend those wines together to make something truly unique for this part of the valley. So.
Anthony, these are stunning.
Thank you.